Welcome to Just Gist TV. Tonight's story is not loud. It is not chaotic. But it is heavy. Because sometimes, the most painful moments do not come from shouting or accusations. They come from silence, from questions left hanging in the air, and from emotions that were never meant to be processed in public. Do you still love me? Those words, whether spoken directly or deeply implied, have become the emotional center of a story that has left fans stunned, conflicted, and unexpectedly heartbroken. And at the center of it all is Brian Okwara. For days now, fans have been unable to shake the image of Brian appearing withdrawn, visibly low, and emotionally distant, at a time when renewed rumors surrounding Maurice and Sonia Uche have once again taken over conversations online. The timing alone was enough to trigger concern. But it was Brian's demeanor that sealed it. This was not acting. This was not promotion. This was not calculated. This was a man who looked like he was carrying something heavy. Brian Okwara has always been known as someone who stays away from unnecessary noise. He is not loud on social media. He does not thrive on controversy. He does not feed fan theories. That is exactly why this moment hit so deeply. Fans are not used to seeing him like this. According to viewers who closely observed his recent appearance, Brian looked tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. His expressions were slow. His body language was guarded. And while no names were mentioned, the emotional undertone was impossible to ignore. Fans immediately began connecting the dots. Just days earlier, conversations around Maurice and Sonia Uche had resurfaced once again. Old videos. New theories. Renewed speculation. The internet, as always, moved fast. And right in the middle of that renewed chaos, Brian appeared, and he did not look okay. For many fans, it felt like the pieces finally aligned. The phrase, "Do you still love me?" began circulating online, not because Brian clearly said it on camera, but because fans felt it represented an unspoken question. A question that comes when someone feels emotionally displaced. A question that comes when clarity is missing. A question that comes when silence hurts more than rejection. And suddenly, sympathy replaced gossip. Social media reactions shifted tone almost immediately. Instead of dragging or speculation, many fans expressed genuine concern. Comments poured in describing how heartbroken he looked, how painful it was to watch, and how unfair it felt that he was being caught in the middle of narratives he never openly participated in. Some fans openly admitted they had underestimated his emotional investment. For a long time, many believed Brian was simply a calm, detached figure, supportive but unaffected. This moment challenged that assumption. Fans began to realize that quiet people often feel the deepest. Supporters of Brian argue that his pain, if real, is the result of prolonged uncertainty. They believe that when emotions are never acknowledged openly, they do not disappear, they settle quietly and resurface when triggered. And the trigger, according to many, was the resurfacing of rumors involving Sonia Uche and Maurice. Sonia Uche has recently spoken about peace, boundaries, breathing space, and personal growth. She has made it clear that she wants her career to come first and that she is intentional about protecting her mental health. While fans have praised her clarity, others believe that this clarity may have come at an emotional cost to those around her. Brian, fans say, may be one of those people. To be clear, no one has confirmed the relationship. No one has confirmed the breakup. No one has confirmed feelings. And yet, fans are reacting because emotions do not always require confirmation to be visible. Critics, however, strongly disagree with this narrative. They argue that fans are projecting heartbreak onto Brian without evidence. According to them, reading romantic pain into someone's appearance is unfair and invasive. They warn that fans often turn normal emotional fluctuations into full-blown storylines. But supporters push back. They argue that this is not about inventing drama. It is about empathy. About noticing when someone who is usually composed suddenly appears weighed down. They point out that Brian has never used personal emotions for attention. He has never hinted for sympathy. He has never tried to gain relevance through controversy. Which is why, they say, this moment feels authentic. Another layer that deepened the emotional response was Brian's restraint. He did not blame anyone. He did not accuse anyone. He did not shade anyone. That restraint made fans feel protective. Many expressed frustration not at Brian, but at the situation itself. They questioned why clarity is always delayed until emotions have already been bruised. They questioned why silence is often mistaken for strength when it can be deeply damaging. Maurice's silence also became part of the conversation. Once again, Maurice has chosen not to address rumors or narratives directly. While some fans view this as maturity, others feel that the absence of clarity creates emotional casualties, Brian included. Supporters of Maurice argue that he owes the public nothing. That responding to every rumor only feeds chaos. That silence is sometimes the healthiest response. But critics counter that silence does not exist in a vacuum. When multiple people are emotionally entangled, silence from one person can become confusion for another. This is where the story becomes less about gossip and more about emotional responsibility. Fans are now asking deeper questions. Is silence always respectful? Or does it sometimes avoid difficult truths? At what point does privacy begin to hurt others unintentionally? Brian's situation has sparked conversations far beyond this specific triangle. People are discussing emotional transparency in public spaces, the pressure of unspoken expectations, and the quiet damage caused by unresolved connections. Many fans expressed that what hurt them most was not the rumor itself, but the idea that Brian may have been left without closure. Closure does not always mean explanation. Sometimes it simply means honesty. The phrase, "Do you still love me?" resonates because it reflects emotional limbo. It reflects the space between hope and acceptance. A space where someone waits, not loudly, not desperately, but quietly. And waiting quietly can be the most painful part. Some fans have urged Brian to step back from social media entirely. They believe constant exposure only magnifies emotional strain. Others have encouraged him to focus on his career, reminding him that professional success should not be overshadowed by personal uncertainty. There is also growing respect for how he has handled everything. No interviews. No emotional outbursts. No manipulation of fan sympathy. Just presence. And that presence alone spoke volumes. Sonia Uche's fans have also joined the conversation, urging people not to blame her. They argue that she has been clear about her boundaries and should not be held responsible for how others interpret her actions. They remind everyone that choosing oneself does not mean intentionally hurting others. And they are right. At the same time, empathy does not require assigning blame. Fans can feel sorry for Brian without attacking Sonia. They can question silence without accusing Maurice. The situation is complex, and emotions rarely fit into clean categories. As the days pass, the conversation continues to evolve. Some believe this moment marks a turning point for Brian, a moment where he will either retreat inward or finally prioritize his own emotional clarity. Others believe this is simply a temporary emotional wave, magnified by timing and speculation. What remains undeniable is that fans felt something. They felt sadness. They felt concern. They felt protective. And that alone suggests that Brian's presence carries emotional weight far beyond rumors. In an industry often driven by noise, this story stood out because of quiet sadness, quiet disappointment, quiet questions. Whether the question, "Do you still love me?" was ever spoken aloud does not matter anymore. It has already lived in the minds of fans, echoing through timelines and comment sections. As this situation continues to unfold, fans are becoming more careful. There is growing awareness that behind every trending topic is a real person navigating emotions that do not pause for public consumption. Brian Okwara is not a storyline. He is not a symbol. He is not a pawn in online narratives. He is a person. And right now, fans want one thing above all else for him: peace. Peace from speculation. Peace from silence that confuses. Peace from emotional limbo. Whether clarity comes publicly or privately, fans hope it comes gently. Because not every heartbreak needs an audience. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe fans are reading too much into Brian Okwara's emotions, or do you think his pain is real and visible? Subscribe to Just Gist TV for long-form stories that look beyond headlines and into the human moments behind the drama.